Life can change quickly and without warning sometimes. As Christmas Eve festivities began for my family in December 2021, I knew something wasn't right with my body and health after dinner that evening. When I reached home with my wife, daughter, and father-in-law, I went straight to bed with chills and cold sweats. Looking back, I should have gone straight to the ER, but I didn't. I was stubborn. I persevered, trying to make it through the night. I thought I could beat this on my own. I waited another 4 days before going to a local ER clinic. A big mistake on my part. They diagnosed me with COVID-19 pneumonia. 2 days later, I returned for another stay. Chest x-rays and a CAT scan confirmed the worst-case scenario. My lungs were now filled with more scarring from the pneumonia I had neglected to get treated for sooner. They released me and sent me home again with instructions to rest and let the medications work. When I returned 2 days later, one of the doctors was determined not to let me leave without getting me a bed at a local hospital. He arranged to have me sent there by ambulance. I was experiencing extreme weakness and fatigue. I could breathe only with an oxygen mask. This doctor saw in me what he had experienced a year earlier. He was one of the fortunate ones who went on a ventilator and came back alive. He checked on me every hour as I patiently waited for a room to become available at the local hospital. Each time he would tell me a little bit more of his life-threatening experience with COVID-19. He was a great encourager and full of suggestions he thought were beneficial. As I lay there waiting hours for an available room, I began to think about our daughter and parenting. Being a parent is one of the most treasured experiences of my life. While I may have made a mistake or two along the way, it's always been out of love for our child. This was to have been a great Christmas break for my daughter before returning to college for her last semester in graduation, but here I sat in the ER clinic, waiting to be admitted and treated at a local hospital. The personal heartache of not being able to put my daughter on a plane back to school brings a swell of tears. To add to that, my chances of living were not in my favor. The clarity of knowing I probably wouldn't see her face again and wouldn't be there for her grieved me deeply. I thought about her walking across the stage to receive her college diploma and not being there for her. In these moments, all I could do was try to survive and commit her to the Lord. The pictures in my mind of leaving this world made me feel as if I had betrayed my parental trust. If only I had taken better care of myself, she wouldn't be experiencing the pain and grief I had inflicted her with. My wife puts her on the plane, and she leaves without seeing me, and there is the very real possibility she'll be on another plane back home to watch me get lowered into the ground. In the process, you try to find peace and hope, but the bitterness of death and the thought of her attending my funeral was heartbreaking. She had already experienced the loss of loved ones recently with the death of her beloved Uncle Tom 2 years ago and her precious grandmother a year ago. Among many other things, Brother Tom was a huge car enthusiast. He loved Jesus and cars. He would frequently pick our daughter up on a Sunday afternoon and drive her around town through the scenic back roads of his newest acquisition. She never knew what model of car he would show up in, always stopping to have some ice cream with her before returning home before sunset. I can't even begin to tell you how close she was to her mama. They were the best of friends, closer than any granddaughter and grandmother could ever be. The sting of death was real and painful to her. I felt as though I lay on a spinning wheel and couldn't get off. As much as I liked to be in control, everything now felt completely out of my control. Contemplating my situation, I felt utterly helpless. Can I get a redo? Give me another chance, please. God, stop this madness from happening. As if all this isn't enough, I began asking myself, what else did I leave undone? Did I really leave others an example of Christian faith and love? As the credits are rolling on my life, is there much evidence to point others to the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ?